The Houston Texans rushing attack is going to get better. I guarantee it, because it can't get much worse than what it has been right now. No, in all seriousness, I do believe the Texans are going to be able to run the football a little bit better here in the near future than they have been running the football. Up to this point with J.J. Taylor or Cam Akers or Dare Ogunbowale, it hasn't really worked out for the Houston Texans on the ground. They're one of the worst rushing offenses in football. Over the last 3 games, they've got a 3.1 yard per carry, less than 200 rushing yards in that time from running backs. It's just not good on the ground. Nothing's really working. You rush outside, you rush inside, doesn't matter which running backs it is. Nothing's working for this team on the ground. Now, there's reinforcements on the way. I do believe Joe Mixon's got a good shot to play, having practiced on Thursday for this Texans team. He said he'll test it Friday and over the weekend, and we'll see about Sunday. But Dameon Pierce practicing throughout the course of this week lends itself to him potentially coming back as well. And while I don't believe Pierce is some big savior of the rushing attack, I'm willing to just see what Dameon Pierce can bring to the table. That's not what Dare Ogunbowale, Cam Akers, and J.J. Taylor have already put out there for the Houston Texans on offense. And look, the passing offense has taken care of the rushing attack so far, and the defense has helped out as well. But that passing offense, which is number 1 in the league right now heading into this week of football, by the way, took a big hit with Nico Collins headed to the injured reserve. So without an execution that we've seen on the field of the post-Nico Collins passing attack, they've got to start running the football well. In fact, if you told me, Cody, tell me the best way to replace Nico Collins' production in this offense, I wouldn't tell you throw it to Stefon Diggs like he was still in Buffalo. I wouldn't tell you, hey, it's got to be Tank Dell. He's got to get going. I'd tell you, start running the football one hell of a lot better than you have been running the football, and I do it with Joe Mixon. That's the ideal way to replace some of that production. I don't believe Mixon is some fix-all in this offense, but he's going to make a lot of the rushing attacks look better. A lot of the rushing attack look better than it has over the past few games. And look, he was the NFL's leading rusher when he went down with that injury. And yes, it was the Colts, and they looked terrible in stopping the run. But I just believe Mixon, with his decisiveness, his size, his agility, his speed, his toughness, his experience, he is going to be a big factor in getting this rushing attack going. I know a lot of people have been blaming Bobby Slowick for this. And yeah, the Texans don't run the ball very well on first and second down, and they've had some trouble putting themselves behind the chains and putting C.J. Stroud and company in some unfavorable positions on third down. But Stroud's one of the best quarterbacks in football on third down. I'd like for him to see less third and longs going forward, and I again believe when this rushing attack gets going that he's going to see just that. But Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator for this team, says, hey, there were some signs of life. If there were signs of life with those backs, maybe it'll be really good when Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce are in there.
Very rarely in the NFL, in any aspect, so even if you bring it all the way down to offense, are all things clicking at once. Like, that's an extremely rare thing in the league. So, we had the first game, our run game was clicking. I would say probably our pass game, not so much. We've had a couple games in there where nothing was really clicking. And then we've had some games since where the pass game's been clicking and the run game's had its moments, but by and large has not always been exactly what we want. But, that can change at the snap of a finger. So just continuing to stick with it. I think our guys put on the last game, they put some really good clips out there. Specifically in the run game, like the touchdown run we had was probably for Cam, probably one of the easier runs he had of his career. It was really well blocked.
And look, a couple of nice plays doesn't wipe away what this rushing attack has been, which is a pretty tough rushing attack to watch through, since Joe Mixon's injury from the hip drop tackle. So a couple of nice plays and getting close doesn't solve everything, but I believe Bobby Slowick, they saw some good things in the film. I saw some good things on the ground, even though it still wasn't great overall. But again, the belief in Mixon and even Dameon Pierce being able to provide a little bit more, and this cooled off rushing offense will get jump started. A minute here for my friends at Platinum AC and Heating. We talked about cooling off. The weather's cooling off. That's the perfect time to have your AC checked up. Make sure that when that heat rolls back around next year, hey, you're ready and your AC is in great working condition. Plus, getting it ready for those few cold days when you got to tune it up and get it hot in there. Platinum AC and Heating is the best. The best prices in town, the best service in town, 5-star rated by the Better Business Bureau. And my guy Dwyane is a Texans fan just like you. Give him a call today, 832-777-3683. 832-777-3683 is the number. And talk about that best pricing in town. You're going to get a special price for watching the video and calling and saying, hey, Dwyane, I saw you on Cody's YouTube page. You get a special price on the year-round maintenance. So when you're taking care of that year-round maintenance on your AC, that preventative maintenance, it prevents you from having a big bill at the end of the year. Give Platinum AC and Heating a call today. Talk to Dwyane, talk Texans with him, and get that AC checked out and running the best it can. Now, I talked about the passing attack, and Bobby Slowick also mentioned some of the things that they're doing pretty darn well as a team, and it's not just a couple of nice run plays that he's talking about, but he does accentuate the part of the field where they do need to run the football well so that they can supplement the good things that they have been doing as a team.
Statistically, we've been good on third down. We've been good in the red zone. We've been good in yards. There's like this void somewhere between the plus 45 and the plus 30 that we've had some issues in, and that right now as a staff is what we're in there grinding and trying to figure out, because really in the game where we stalled in the second half was we had two, really three, if you count the 44-second play, times where we got across the 40-yard line and we had no points to show for it, which that gets hard. That's hard to win in the NFL when that happens.
So here's where I land on this rushing attack. Joe Mixon, he plays against the New England Patriots, which I do believe he's got a great chance to do that. Joe Mixon is going to fix a lot of the issues that this team has had running the football. It's not going to fix everything. You're still going to need Laremy Tunsil and Kenyon Green and Juice Scruggs and Shaq Mason and Titus Howard or Blake Fisher if he's in there for anybody. You're still going to need those guys to take it to the next level and continue to get a little bit better. And specifically, I think about those guards in Mason and Kenyon Green. They've got to really level off and get to where you hoped they could be heading into this season. Hope's not a strategy, but they can't keep playing as poorly as they have through these first few weeks from a rushing perspective. They've got to get a little bit better, and Mixon's going to make those offensive linemen right a handful of times. Now, if Joe Mixon can't go against the Patriots, I do believe Pierce is going to go. And Pierce, well, I can't tell you that I have the faith in him that I have in Joe Mixon, but I have the faith that he's something different than Cam Akers, and he's something different than Dare Ogunbowale. And at this point, I'd like to just see different from this rushing attack. Wouldn't you? Just something different than what they have put on the field to this point might be enough to get this thing going. But Bobby Slowick talked about it. They have that trouble in the middle of the field that they just can't seem to consistently move the ball and get past that little barrier almost where they end up kicking a lot of these field goals. Well, they end up kicking a lot of field goals because they end up failing on early downs and make those third downs more difficult, and teams are doing a good job with Nico Collins taking away some of their explosiveness, making it difficult to succeed on third and mediums, third and longs. And now without Nico Collins, it's going to be even more difficult, which makes it even more paramount that they run the football well. And as Slowick talked about in that first clip that we played, it's very rare for everything to click in one game. The Texans could use a game where everything clicks in one game, and they're going to need that rushing attack to click without Nico Collins helping out that passing attack. I still believe in Stefon Diggs and Tank Dell getting some things done with this passing attack. The other wide receivers, hey, I don't have great belief in them. Bobby Slowick seems to like what those guys can potentially bring to the table.
Nico is a guy that is really irreplaceable. I think he's been playing probably the best ball of his career. I think right now I'd say for us he was the best receiver in the NFL and what he was doing, and you can't replace that. But at the same time, we got a room full of guys that are hungry, that want to go in, they want to get their ops. I think Hutch did a great job in the game. After Nico went out, he took advantage of his ops. He showed up in the run game. He works every single day. Obviously, you have Metch, you have Woody, you have Sims. I mean, we got a lot of guys that can go out, that can play, and that can function. So we have full confidence that we'll just keep rolling.
So be it Xavier Hutchinson or John Mechie or Robert Woods or Steven Sims or the tight ends, you're going to need a group effort to replace what Nico Collins brought to the table, but it'd go a long way in replacing him in the offense if you were running the football much better. I'm tired of talking about them running the football poorly. I want Joe Mixon to go out there and just have, something close to week 1 and just bowl through a couple of people. And then we can all talk about, hey, Bobby Slowick, not an idiot. Bobby Slowick, a little bit closer to the genius that people called him a couple of times last year. It's been very difficult for Bobby Slowick to execute the offense the way that he wants to without Joe Mixon. If it doesn't look good with Mixon in there, then we can start having a few more Bobby Slowick conversations. But for right now, I'm not letting the drawbridge down for all the people with their pitchforks and torches that want to get rid of Bobby Slowick. I'm standing up for the offensive coordinator because he hasn't had the tools to execute this rushing attack to the level that they probably need. Now, it's a dire time without Nico Collins, so you're going to need to execute that rushing attack, and Slowick's going to have to be on his best to make sure that it is executed and happening against this Patriots team, and then, of course, the Packers and the Colts and the Jets, and if Nico's missing more than that, then hopefully Mixon's taken over and taking care of business. What say you? You believe Bobby Slowick's going to get this thing going with Joe Mixon, or you're not quite feeling that to this moment? Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to learn more about our friends at Platinum AC and Heating. They are the best in town, the best service, the best prices. Call my guy, Dwyane, 832-777-3683, 832-777-3683. Put it in your phone. When you need an AC guy, you need the AC guy, and you get that special price for watching the video. You get that special price on the year-round preventative maintenance that saves you money because you don't ever have a huge issue with your air conditioner. Call Platinum AC and Heating today and check them out. So if you're here for the football, appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait till we talk Texans again soon. But if you like the food reviews, it's coming your way right now. All right, food review time, and the first ice cream that we have in the food reviews, Cookies N Cream Cheesecake, a new one from the fine folks over at Bluebell. I got to tell you, this one looks really good, and it just sounded really good as well. Cookies and Cream Cheesecake. I expect a little bit of tartness like you would get from a cheesecake, plus that classic cookies and cream flavor from the fine folks at Bluebell. They describe it as a rich cheesecake ice cream blended with chocolate cookie crusted cheesecake pieces and chocolate cream filled cookies. That's the description from Bluebell. Let's get you the description from Stoots Bell as I give you a little taste test here. So I showed you what it looked like a little bit on the screen. This is what it looks like in the bowl. Okay. You can see those cookie crusted pieces and the cheesecake pieces. Let's give it a little taste here. Gotta hurry. This one's melting. This is the first food review where we're on a little bit of a time limit here. Okay, initially, it tastes just like cookies and cream. Just like cookies and cream. Let me get another bite here, okay? Okay, you get a little bit more of the cheesecake flavor on the front end, and as you have a couple more bites, there's a few more bits of cheesecake flavor. You can kind of see these. This may be a tough one to see. They have these little chocolate-covered cheesecake bites that are in there that present some very cheesecakey bites. Now, there's your cheesecake. This doesn't taste like cheesecake ice cream. Like, this doesn't feel like it is for sure, oh my goodness, that's cheesecake ice cream. Like, if there's nothing else in here, I would be able to tell you that was cheesecake. I don't think so. But you got those big hunks of cheesecake in there, plus the little cookies in there. Let's get a big old heaping spoonful here and see what we can really decipher from this. Okay, very cheesecakey. You get that sort of that cream cheesy flavor that cheesecakes have when you get those big hunks of cheesecake in a bite. So it gives you a pretty good cheesecake flavor. And then, of course, that classic Bluebell cookies and cream flavor. It's very good. It's been a long time since I've bought a half gallon of Bluebell. And I'll tell you why. It's so damn expensive to buy Bluebell. It's up to almost $9 if you're not getting it on sale. Now, obviously, it goes on sale a couple different places. But when I walked past the freezer section and I saw it and it caught my eye, I was like, man, that's almost $9. But all right, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a go. And let's find out what the people might think about this as well. So a score for the Cookies and Cream Cheesecake ice cream, the new ice cream from Bluebell. Okay, score of 1 to 11, 1 being terrible, 11 being the greatest of all time. Man, it just feels very much like cookies and cream and not really a ton of cheesecake in there, but a couple of little bits and bites. There's so many other good flavors. There's so many other incredible brands of ice cream as well that give you different things. I don't know that this one's a must try. If you love cookies and cream, if you love cheesecake, you probably want to pick this one up and give it a shot. If you could find the pint, it's probably best consumed in a pint. I don't know that I'd want a whole half gallon of this like I have in my freezer. Maybe I can share with some people and get rid of it that way. If it sits in the freezer, eventually I'll get rid of it, of course. So, all right, score time. Let's get to it here. I'm going to go with a score of 7.7. 7.7 for the Cookies and Cream Cheesecake ice cream from Bluebell. It's okay. It's not great. It's not a bad ice cream. It's not going to be your favorite. It's a nice novelty. I bet you buy it once, and I bet you don't buy it again. I bet you don't eat it again after you buy it once. But it's not a bad flavor. It doesn't taste bad. It's probably worth a shot again if you like cheesecake and you like the cookies and cream from Bluebell. So 7.7 for the Cookies and Cream Cheesecake ice cream from the folks at Bluebell.